Hey boys, welcome back to the second episode in my Rugby League Live 4 wishlist and ideas type video. So the last episode we talked about set plays in the game, so if you haven't checked that out and you want to, go check it out. I'll have a playlist set up, so look for the playlist. But this one, as the title will suggest, I'll be talking about defense and tackling mechanics. So this one's an interesting point, and I've been thinking about this for a while. And so as it is now, there's three. Well, I guess there's four, but three main types of tackles. I guess the fourth one is the low diving tackle, and I might talk about that at the end. But the three main ones, you've got like the low, the lower tackle, tackling around the legs. You got the arm pin, the ball and all type tackle, and then you've got the big hit. Now, the problem in the game at the moment, for me personally with the tackling, is that the first two, there's two different ones you can do there, the low and the arm pin. I play on the hardest difficulty and I don't even notice any difference, right? I don't notice any difference between the tackles, and I'll be honest, a lot of times I go to press X for the low tackle and they do a ball and all arm pin tackle. It doesn't seem that precise to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of times it doesn't actually even matter. I feel like tackling, it's just pretty much different animations. I feel like there's no real strategy to them. And then we talk about the big hit tackle. That one is actually useless, and it's worse than useless now, because before the patch, the big hit tackle was fun to do, a big hit. It's always fun to look at, but since the patch, they made it so the big hit tackle drains all your fucking stamina. So it doesn't actually do anything for you other than you're not going to give away a held down penalty, but you're going to drain all your stamina. So what I want is these three to be more. I want them to have stronger negatives and positives in the actual game. So it's not necessarily like a rock, paper, scissors, but it's more tactical in terms of what player you've got and what tackle and what player is running at you, what tackle you should do, and that sort of thing. So that I'll go through the three different types of tackles, and then I'll talk about what positives or benefits, negatives they should have, because I know they are meant to have different benefits. Like the low tackle, it's meant to be better against like a hit up. The arm pin, I guess, is better against like a step, something like that. But like I said at the start, I don't notice any real difference, any concernable difference between them. So the first one, the low tackle, the legs tackle, right? The benefits of that should be a high chance to actually make the tackle, right? It's common sense. You go for the legs, a high chance you're actually going to bring them down. Other benefits, you're not going to give away a high tackle penalty. That's pretty clear cut. Negatives though, low tackle, more chance of an offload, and also more chance of holding down penalty. Realistic. Now, obviously, keep in mind everything I say here, stats will obviously come into play. Tackling stats, the player who's running the ball, the player who's defending. So, whenever I say the increased chance, stats will play a factor. It's not just a one-to-one comparison, but that obviously gets balanced out during the process with player stats and everything. And I guess they could also have, for the low tackle, it could counter, and I think it should counter more heavily someone who does a hit up. During the game, if you're playing against someone and they're just spamming hit ups, you do a low tackle, it's pretty much gonna, it's more likely to make the tackle. Negatives though, if they do a sidestep, then you're more likely to miss a tackle. So have the benefit of the low tackle, just generally being more likely to affect the tackle. but negatively also resulting in a quicker play of the ball or a chance of a held down penalty. Now, like, you know, you might think that's already in the game, but I'm just, you know, this should be more, it should be more obvious, right? It should be more tactical. There should actually be a thought when you're going into a tackle. Should I go for the low tackle here? You know, if they're on a bit of a roll, go for a low, you know, go for a bit of a bigger hit tackle to stop the momentum, that sort of thing. So that's the low tackle, the ball and all tackle, the arm pin tackle, whatever you want to call it. Advantages: a slower play of the ball, you know, less chance to give away a held down penalty, and also a less chance to concede an offload. And I guess the other advantage, if the running player does a sidestep, then you're more likely to tackle the player. And again, I'll reiterate, stats make a difference. So if someone has a really high, you know, agility stat, and you have a pretty low defense stat, then even if you do an arm pin tackle, they, you know, the chances there will probably that they could potentially still step you, right? That's just basic, the basic thought behind it. The negatives though, you know, less likely to make the tackle if they do a hit up, and also a high chance to give away a high tackle penalty, and also, actually that's probably it. Negatives: more chance to give away a high tackle penalty, and yeah, getting bumped off if they do a hit up. So, you know, that's sort of where the rock paper scissors comes into it. You know, if you're versing the AI, if you're versing an opposing player, if they see you're doing a lot of arm pin tackles, ball and all tackles, they'll start doing hit ups and just bump you off. Now, the other one, and this one, you know, the first two is, you know, if they make it more in depth, I'll be happy, but I'm not too concerned either way. I would like it to be more in depth and more tactical, but the last one here, the big hit tackle, this one is the key. This one is the thing that I really think they need to fix. And being like a big hit tackle, it's got to have some pretty strong negatives. It's got to have some pretty strong positives. So first off, the positives. The positives for a big hit tackle is if it is pulled off, if you actually perform the big hit tackle and it comes off, then a greater chance to cause a knock on. Now, that right there is a big thing, because knock-ons in Rugby League Live 3, they don't happen in tackles. I think, like, I don't even know if they're possible. I think they might have the smallest fucking chance to happen, but I don't think I've ever seen one. So, performing a bigger tackle, if you pull it off, a chance to knock the ball on. And you might think, man, that seems really overpowered. But the thing is, it's got two steps, two chances to go through. First, the chance of it actually working. So the negative to a big hit tackle, well, we'll go through the positives first. So the positives, if it comes off, a chance to cause a knock on. Other positives, if it pulls off, they might not drop the ball, but no chance of an offload, you know, no chance of getting like a held down tackle penalty. Like, it's a dominant tackle. They're not going to get an offload. They're not going to get a held down tackle penalty. But the negatives, so they're pretty big positives. The negatives, though, a much less chance to actually pull off the tackle. So that's where the chance comes into it. So first off, you got the chance to actually make the big hit tackle. So, you know, there's that chance. And then for the knock on to happen, there's another set of chances to go through. So it's not just you do a big hit tackle, it's a chance to knock it on. You do a big hit tackle, there's a chance to actually pull it off or just get bumped out of the way, and then there's a chance to actually cause a knock on. Now, obviously that's a key one, and that needs to be balanced and tested to make sure it's not overpowered, but also that it's not too underpowered. You know, you want it to happen, but you don't want it to happen too frequently, right? And obviously other negatives, a much higher chance to give away a higher tackle penalty, and yeah, like I said before, much higher chance to actually get bumped off in the tackle. And like I said, I've said it heaps of times now, but the stats come into it. So like I said before, with like the ball and all tackle, if you're a big dude you know, if you're a big front rower and you're going for the ball and all tackle on a little player, and they try to do like just a hit up, like your shoulder barge out of the way, then chances are you're probably still going to make that ball and all tackle. The little fella isn't just going to steamroll the big fella. They got to make sure the stats balance that sort of stuff out. But then obviously those chances between each tackle then take effect. So yeah, the biggest one I want changed, you know, the low tackle being more realistic, you know, more likely for held down tackle penalties, more likely for an offload, but more likely to actually affect the tackle. The ball and all tackle, you know, less likely to give away an offload, less likely to give a held down tackle penalty, but then negatives, high chance to give away a high tackle penalty, also high chance to get, you know, bumped off in a hit up situation. You know, those two I'd be happy with for them to make more detailed, but then the big hit tackle is the one I really want them to fix. So yeah, causing more ball spills, like it would make the game just, once again, this is all the stuff with the set plays. It was all about making the gameplay more deep and more tactical, I guess, and this tackling mechanic system more deep and tactical as well. Because as it is now, like, let's say you're on defense, you're down by 4 points, and they've got the ball inside their like 20-meter line, they can just run out the clock as it is now. There's nothing you can really do about it. But with this system, you know, you're going to be racing up out of the line looking to put a big hit on. Now the chances are, you know, it's probably not going to come off. You might give away a penalty, you know, cause a line break, whatever else, but there's a chance there it's going to pay off. You're going to cause a knock on, and you can change the game. And you can obviously do this during any time of the game. It's a risky play. That's what a big hit tackle should be. Now, the thing is, like, I would love them to bring back a shoulder charge animation for this. I don't think they're allowed to, though. I'm pretty sure the NRL would be like, no, you're not allowed to put a shoulder charge animation in the game because it's illegal from the NRL, real life. They probably aren't allowed to put it in a video game, and you might think that's ridiculous, and you know, I think it's ridiculous. Like, it's a video game, but it's just the way sports are, and the NRL and all that stuff is. Like, they're not gonna let. I don't think it'd be possible to put it in the game. I just feel like they would make it so they wouldn't be allowed to. I would love just more animations in general. You know, the big hit tackle have a couple of different type of big hits, more realistic, that sort of stuff. You know, low tackles, armpin tackles. You know, a few more animations. I honestly think the Rugby League Live 3 tackling animations are all pretty good. And that sort of stuff. I guess the last one is the low diving tackle, and I'm sort of, I don't know, I probably think just leave this one in the game. The only thing they need to fix about the low diving tackle is how quick the player falls to the ground. Now, the way it should be, and sometimes it does do this, so when you do a low diving tackle, sometimes, you know, you'll do the tackle and they sort of fall to the ground pretty slowly. Other times, when you hit them from a certain angle, they go down like real quick, super quick, and it's ridiculous. They should just make it so if you do a low diving tackle, you hit their legs, right? You know, you get their ankles, and they fall to the ground slowly, but that gives them a chance to get an offload away. That's how it should be. They should, if they do a low diving tackle, it should always give the attacking player a chance to throw an offload if they want to. Now, you know, you might not want to throw an offload, but it should always give you the chance to throw an offload just because. Like, if you're doing that sort of tackle, it just stops people from cheesing it, because as of now, people can just cheese that, and there's no real punishment for it. So I think that's how they should really fix that. I guess the other thing is also offloads. Now, the way it is now, there's certain animations of tackles that you can get offloads away. I would sort of like a system where if you go into the contact, maybe you can like wiggle the right analog stick, and that like is able to get your arm free of any tackle. and, you know, get an offload away, and depending what type of tackle it is, how easy it is to cause that. I'm not too sure about that. If they keep it how it is, just some certain animation of tackles you can get offloads away, I wouldn't be too unhappy with, but I don't know, just the idea of a little bit more control in a hit up, being able to break free, like break your arm free, and being able to throw an offload for any tackle would be pretty neat. But you know, that's obviously a fairly in-depth type thing that would probably take a fair bit of work to actually make right in the game. But yeah, that's this video done and dusted. A fairly long video once again. These are going to be pretty long, talking pretty in depth about some topics here. But yeah, the tackling, defensive mechanics. If you guys have any other ideas about the tackling, about how the defense should play out, I'm keen to hear it, keen to hear some ideas. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. Like I said, you know, once, you know, a video every week or so, just going through my ideas and then maybe talking about some of your guys' ideas. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like if you did, and I'll see you guys next time.